Hi, welcome back to my cooking channel. This is Herbert Sweet for Days from the Good Old Bajan Cooking Group. Today I'm going to demonstrate to you how to do the Bajan fish cakes. This is a request from my followers wanting to know how to do the Bajan fish cakes. Let me tell you a little about the Bajan fish cakes. The Bajan fish cakes are well loved by tourists and all in Barbados. These fish cakes were passed down to us how to prepare it by our foreparents. They used to work in the sugar industry where they used to cut cane by hand. They used to work in the hot boiling sun, and fish cakes and bakes was their thing, and they wanted fish cakes and bakes along with a nice glass of lemonade or a nice glass of Marby. They used to place 2 fish cakes in a bread where they call it a bread and 2. That was tasty and nice, and it still is tasty and very loved by all these fish cakes. You can even add a piece of cheese between these 2 fish cakes now and the bread and get a fish cake cheese cutter, and it goes down well, especially with your Marby and your lemonade. But I'm going to show you how to prepare this batter. First thing, I need you to boil your saltfish twice for at least half an hour. You put on your codfish on the stove, or saltfish as we Bajans call it. You put it on the stove and you prepare it by adding water to it, and you're going to boil it for half an hour. Throw off the first set of water, then the next set of water you're going to boil for another half an hour, and then you're going to start to debone this fish. If it is boned fish, you have to debone it. You have to crush it by your hands to feel every small bone, because those small bones are very, very harmful. If you ever get those bones stuck in your throat, if you ever get them stuck in your throat, it can be very dangerous. So we are trying to avoid any bones. You got to take out those bones. So debone your fish. If it has bones, debone it. But if you have the deboned fish, you don't need to take out the bones. You just need to boil it, take out the salt, and crush it with your hands before adding it to your batter. To your batter now, when it comes to the green seasonings, you can either use the prepared Bajan green seasoning, or you can add your own chive and your own thyme and marjoram and stuff. You can chop that up and you can add it to your batter, which I usually do. I use my things from scratch and I add them to my batter. So I'm going to show you some simple steps, and please follow all instructions on how to prepare your batter. Some people prepare their batter different, but I'm preparing my batter the old traditional way that I'm going to show you how to prepare your batter, and I hope that you enjoy and love this delicacy. I'm starting to prepare my fish cakes, and this is my chopped onions that I'm going to use. I'm going to use 1 cup of chopped onions, 1 cup of green seasoning. I'm going to use 4 tablespoons of baking powder, because this is what make the fish cakes rise. This is my all-purpose seasoning that I'm going to put into my fish cakes to give it some flavor. And this is my flour that I'm going to use. You can use as much flour as you wish for your fish cakes. I'm using roughly 4 cups of flour, and this is my water I'm going to use to do my fish cakes. I'm going to use actually 1 pound of salt fish. You wash your fish, you place your fish in some water, and you boil out the salt out of that water. As much salt as you can get out of that fish, you boil that water with the fish and boil out as much salt as you can. You can boil the salt fish twice to get out the salt. You will see the salt come out when the water boils down. You will see the salt all around the rim of the saucepan. So you will boil out the salt, boil it about twice to get out the salt of the fish. You're not going to boil all the salt, but you want most of the salt out of your salt fish, because when you add your other stuff, your all-purpose seasoning stuff, is going to give you back the salt you need. So you don't need all of that salt. You can also use some hot Scotch bonnet pepper. I'm not going to use pepper because, as I said, I cook for my family and we don't use a lot of pepper. But you can use your pepper, Scotch bonnet pepper. You can cut it up fine and put it in to your fish cakes. Or you can add your pepper at the end where you fry your fish cakes, and you mix some ketchup and pepper together, and you will enjoy that fish cake inside of a dip. So with your dip, you're going to use ketchup and you're going to use some hot sauce. And you mix it together and you dip your fish cakes in there. If you need your fish cake spicy hot, or you can do it spicy hot. But everyone doesn't like the pepper, so I wouldn't advise to add a lot of pepper. If you add pepper, please do it mildly, because everyone is not tolerant to hot peppers. So that's my start that I'm starting right now. I've shown you my ingredients, and I would add these ingredients for you. I'm going to start by adding my flour. This is my flour. I'm adding my flour. I'm going to leave a little bit back in case that I add too much water to my fish cakes. So I add my flour. Then I add my onions. 1 cup of onions. You add your onions. Then you're going to add your green chives, and then you're gonna add your all-purpose seasoning. But this all-purpose seasoning, it's just some black pepper, yes, some black pepper, some onion powder, some garlic powder, yes, and you add them together into this. You add it into your, make sure you don't have too much black pepper, or you can use white pepper. You can add to your seasoning, or you can simply buy an all-purpose seasoning to add to this. But when you add your onion powder and your garlic powder, and you add the white pepper or the black pepper, as I said, so that's why you wouldn't need pepper into this, because it have a little white pepper into it. And then you can add a little paprika and a little chili powder to it. Or you can simply buy a pack of all-purpose seasoning or complete seasoning where you have everything inside of it that you can add. And you add just a ½ teaspoon of salt with it. And that is your all-purpose seasoning for your fish cakes. Or as I said, you can buy your package of all-purpose seasoning where they have other spices into it. You can add that. This is my baking powder that I'm going to add here. Then I'm going to stir this now. Here you're combining all of your ingredients. All of your ingredients you're combining. You're going to combine. And while you're doing that, you combine all this together. Then I'm going to show you what I'm going to my next step. Not adding the water as yet. That's not my next step. My next step, I will show you what I will do. So I'll combine all of this stuff in here. I do not use MSG. I'm not using no MSG at all in my foods. I use simply some all-purpose seasoning. As I said, you can buy a package or a bottle of all-purpose seasoning or complete seasoning. No seasoning salt. I'm not advising you to put no seasoning salt to dish. Or you can buy a pack of Maggi fish seasoning and add it to your fish cakes. Some people add MSG. I am not adding MSG, as I said. Now here, after I finish combine that stuff, I add what you're looking for, your saltfish. You add your saltfish, and then you combine again before you add that water. The water is the last thing that you're going to mix. So I'm going to combine here again. I'll keep combining. After combining that saltfish, here's now where you add your water. Well, I add my water. If I need more water, I will just add more water. There's 2 cups of water I've added. If I need more than that, I will just add it in, which I would probably need more than that, but I would add it in gradually. I would add it in and mix in my water into my flour to get it at the consistency that I need it at. But you add it piece. You stir in the flour piece. Add your water to the side and you stir in piece till you get your consistency. You're adding, you're going to heat your pan with oil. You're going to put enough oil that can fry those fish cakes, because those fish cakes have in baking powder and it's going to suck in the oil. So you need to add enough oil that will cover these fish cakes. When these fish cakes are dropped, when the fish cakes drop, they should be able to bounce back. If your oil is hot enough, you're going to test your oil to see if it's hot enough by dropping 1 spoonful of butter into the pan. So while this is being hot, you mix your fish cake batter, and your fish cake batter should come to a consistency like this, not too wet and not too runny. So don't add too much water. If you add water, you have to add more flour. So you add enough water, and as I said, you add your water slowly that you will know how much water you need. If you add 2 cups, you will know that you need, and you stir it in, and you see that all of the flour have not been combined. You add some more water, gradually add it slowly. And I'm going to drop this while my pan is hot. I'm going to test my fish cake now. See, you should have a smooth ball like this. I'm dropping these large, so you should have a ball come up. You just need a little bit. If you're dropping them by this is going to give me a big one. I'm using this type of spoon, an ice cream spoon, a small ice cream spoon, where I take up my batter with to drop my fish cakes as big as I want them. So, but you can use, if you're having a cocktail party, you use a teaspoon and drop your fish cake batter by teaspoons. I'm going to test by dropping 1. See how lovely that looks. See, my pan is hot, so I'll continue to drop. Now you see my fish cakes are going, they're getting brown. When these brown a certain golden brown, you just turn them on the other side. Right now they're still not brown enough to turn on the other side, but you let them brown enough. Make sure that they're cooked in the center. So you let them brown enough, and then you turn them. And when you turn them on the other side and they're brown enough, you take them out. Make sure you open one to make sure that it's fully cooked inside and there's not any raw dough inside of them. With these fish cakes, with these nice bajan fish cakes, you can still have the green seasoning that you see I have added. If you don't want to use that green seasoning, you can use the bajan green seasoning that come in the package or the bottle, whatever you choose to use. If you don't have the fresh one, you can use the package or the bottle bajan green seasoning, or if you have mixed some and you have it in the fridge, you can use that instead of using the fresh one. But I love to use my fresh, cut up my fresh ones and use. So that's what I use. And you can add more saltfish to it. You can add pepper to it. Some people add eggs, but I don't really add an egg to mine. I just do mine the old traditional way without the eggs. I add mine, but the eggs sometimes help stop the grease from going there. When these finish now, you're going to line a tray or pan with some greaseproof paper so that the oil can go back into the greaseproof paper and not much would be in the fish cakes. So my fish cakes are not long enough to turn, but I love to sometimes still give them a little notch so that the oil would be cooked inside all over. So I don't mind turning them. Don't mind turning them and turning and turning and turning until they're good, because that gives the, sometimes it's easy to give the fish cakes a little cooking when you stir the oil, that you will know that they'll cook on both sides and then they will brown eventually. I use half olive oil along with some Corona oil. I don't really use the vegetable oil, but you can use the vegetable oil, you can use the soya oil, whatever oil you choose, you can use to do your frying. And that is your good old Bajan fish cakes. With these, we're going to have some fish cake cutters where I put these in some nice good Bajan salt bread that I'm going to use. But this is what I'm going to use, and I'm going to have this with some oats for my dinner. I will be having these with some oats. I'll boil some oats and I'll be having these with some oats. They go good with some morbi, Bajan morbi. These go down good with some morbi or some lemonade. In the old time days it was sugar water, sweet water, what we call swank. So just some sugar and water because we can afford it in those times, but our moms made sure we had something to eat. And mostly this would be a Friday thing where our parents would do bakes or muffins or some stuff. Next I will show you, sometime I will show you how to do the Bajan muffins, but this is the Bajan fish cakes right now. You have not learned how to do the Bajan base. Follow the steps and you will go right with this. All you have to do is follow my videos, follow the step to step. It's very simple and very easy. I'll show you how to do it. You add the stuff according to your likings, add the spices according to your likings, and that is your good old Bajan fish cakes. Now here your fish cakes are getting brown, nice, looking lovely. They are looking perfect. They're getting that golden brown look. So I'm going to give it a stir. Let them turn over on the other side. See, they're looking nice and brown. If you give them a stir, they're going to turn on their own. See, they're looking nice, golden brown. Don't want to make them too dark. We just need them with a brown, nice, golden look. And here they're looking perfect. Yeah, I'm going to let them brown some more before I take them out. Nice, lovely looking fish cakes, not too big, not too small. So there you have it, your first set of fish cakes. Yes, this is your nice brown, golden brown fish cakes, so Bajan fish cakes. So this is your fish cakes, your lovely fish cakes. So there you have your Bajan fish cakes, folks. This is your fish cakes all drained. I will now prepare my fish cake cutter. This is my lovely fish cake cutter. 2 fish cakes in a Bajan old salt bread. Yes, nice and tasty. You can add a piece of cheese to this bread and fish cakes and make it a cheese and fish cake cutter. But you have your nice old Bajan salt bread along with your old time fish cakes. We now have our fish cakes with our dip. The dip is some ketchup and hot sauce, as I said before. Some hot sauce and some ketchup added. You mix it. You can also add some mayonnaise to this, but I am not using the mayonnaise, just the ketchup and the hot sauce. If your fish cakes are not hot enough, you can place them into this dip and eat them, and they will be tasty and nice, hot and good. But these are not hot because I deal with children, so I am not preparing hot spicy fish cakes. Plus some adults don't like the hot and spicy. You can make it mild for them and it will go down just as good. Thank you for watching me here on my YouTube channel. I will also invite you to visit me on Facebook. My cooking pages are Good Old Bajan Cooking Group, also Good Old Bajan Cooking Club. You can also join me on IG. My name on IG is Sweet for Days Herbert. You can also like that page as well.